Hey, what's up guys, welcome to FindGap, and in today's video I am going to teach you that how to create a functional component in ReactJS. So this tutorial is for absolute beginners, and in the end of this video you will get to know that how to create and use components in your ReactJS application. Without any delay, let's move towards practical. So first of all, you can see that I have created a new ReactJS project and open this in my Visual Studio Code. If you want to create two, you can run this command in your terminal. You will type npx create-react-app and then the project-name. In the place of project name, you can put any name that you want to give to your project. And to run this command, you must have Node.js installed in your computer. Once you will do that, you will find these following files. You have to click on source, and inside this you will find app.js. So it's possible that you will find many HTML inside this return statement. So make sure to completely empty this. Just you can create a simple div here. Nothing else is required. So next part is how we can create a new component. So the best practice is you should create a new folder in your source folder, and you can name this component, and you can do this in lowercase. Then again you will right click on it and click on new file, and here I'm going to name this component greeting.js. So we have created a new JavaScript file in which we will write our component code. So make sure the first letter of this file should be capital letter, and this file extension can be .js and maybe can .ts. So if you want to write your code in TypeScript, which is the advanced version of JavaScript, you have to name this file .ts. But suppose if I only want to write vanilla JavaScript in this component, then .js component will be enough. Now the first thing inside this we have to do, we need to type here function, our component name, and like this. This is same as we create a simple JavaScript function. Make sure your file name should match with your component name, or maybe with your function name. And then inside this we will have a return statement like this. Inside this you can type your JSX code. So let me type here hello world. So basically a component is a simple JavaScript function, and suppose I want to use this component in my app.js. So what I can do, before doing anything we need to export this. So I will type here export default and my component name like this, and semicolon, nothing else. And now before doing anything, let me click on these three dots and the terminal and new terminal. To run my application I will type here npm start. If you can see here, my app is run on this URL, but currently we do not have displayed anything. For example, let me again go to my app.js, and if I type here hello world, and if I refresh this, so you can see that the hello world is printing here. Or let me type here h1, and I will type this hello world inside this, so we can see this in a bigger form. So this is just a hello world here. But now for example, here I type here I am a full stack web developer. So we have typed this string, and for example this is just a greeting component that is just printing this string. And let me name this or convert this div to h1. In your component you have to type your HTML very carefully, because when you build simple web applications, your HTML many errors are ignored by your browser. But in case of ReactJS you cannot do this. For example, you cannot do this. Like you can see that an error is displaying here, and maybe your application will not be compiled if you will do these mistakes. So make sure to write the correct HTML. And now for example we want to import this component in our app.js. What we will do, let me remove these two imports from here as well. Inside our app.js I will type here import, and then our component name greeting, and then you can see that this is auto completed by my Visual Studio Code. So my component name, and then I will type here from, and then inside the double quotes we have to give the path to our component. So currently you can see that inside our so this path will be from our source directory. So in our source directory we have a folder named component, and then we have this component exist here, which is greeting.js. So we simply have imported our component in app.js. Now the method to use this is very simple. let me remove this h1 tag from here. Here I will type this bracket, the component name that I have imported in my app.js / and then I will type like this. And now if I refresh, so you can see that hello world, I'm a full stack web developer. So we have successfully created a component named greeting.js. It is returning some user interface, and we have successfully imported this component inside our app.js. You can also pass props to your components, which is a concept in ReactJS. So let me show you that how you can pass props. Let me type here name is equal to Fahim, and inside our this component greeting.js, I will type here props, and now inside this, let me remove this complete string, and here I'm going to type here props, our the parameter name that we have typed here. Then I will type here dot, and then from app.js I will copy this name attribute and paste this name attribute here. And now if I refresh, so you can see that we have successfully passed our prop here. So now simply let me copy and paste this, and here let me type here hello Numan. So now you can see that the same component is printing different data, because using props we are changing the information in our component. An additional information I want to tell you, maybe in your old ReactJS applications you will see this stuff in your component like import react from react. So this is not compulsory now, but in the older versions of React it was compulsory, because without importing React you cannot write the proper JSX and compile it. But now you can ignore this part. So if you ever see in any React component this, so you should understand what it is doing. Or simply to use React features, it was important to import React from React. So now this is not required anymore. And one thing I want to tell you, that you can write this component code in another way. For example, in an arrow function. Let me show you how to do that. Let me type here const, and our function name is equal to, and I'm also going to remove this function, and from here I will type this arrow function. So maybe in some of your code base you will find arrow function. So we have created an arrow function and assigned this to this constant variable, and now this variable which contains a function, we are exporting this. So now if I save this and refresh, so you can see that there is no impact in our output. Inside your functional component you can use React built-in hooks. For example, use effect or use state. So use state is used to manage state in a functional component. So let me show you how you can do that. So first of all, for example, if I want to manage state inside this component, what I will do, I will type here import use state from React, and then I will type here inside my greeting const and count set count is equal to use state. I will pass initial value here like 0, and you need to understand the concept of use state hook. We have recorded a separate video and uploaded on our YouTube channel. You can visit that, but in this video I'm only going to teach you that how we can use that. Basically use state is used for state management in React. So this is a variable that will contain the state value, and this would be our function that will use to update the value of count. So for example, let me remove this, or not remove this, let me type here this empty div here, and if I cut this from here and paste here like this, because before doing this you cannot return two HTML elements at the same time. Your all HTML elements should be wrapped in a single div, or maybe in an empty this brackets. So for example, if you not do this, and if you return lorem ipsum like, so you can see that it will display an error. Or if I show you in front end compiled with problems, so you should must, so what will be the right way to do this, to wrap our all HTML in a single div. So now you can see that you will not see any error here. So what I can do, let me type here button like this, and inside my button I'm going to type here click me, and now I will set an on click listener to this. Inside this I will pass a arrow function. Inside this arrow function I will call this function that we will use to update our state. So set count and let me type here count plus 1, and for example hello username, you clicked count time. So you will notice that whenever I am writing JavaScript, I am using these brackets first, and then inside this I am writing my JavaScript. So we have imported our use state, we have created a variable of count, and now we are updating this state using on the click of this click me function. So now let me before doing this, in our app.js I'm going to comment this one first of all, and now if I refresh this, so you can see that hello Fahim, you clicked 0 time, because initially once your application will be load, we have provide the initial value 0, so that's why 0 is printing at this position. So now if I click here, so you can see that our state is updating. So you can use the built-in hooks like use state and many other useful hooks of ReactJS in your functional component. And the benefit to use a functional component is you don't need to use this keyword, which can be a little bit confusing sometimes when writing code. And the one advanced concept is you can also create your custom hooks inside your ReactJS component to write some custom logic. So for example, let me type here function and total width. So this is just a random function that I have typed here, and inside this I will simply return like 2, or maybe for example if you want to write your logic here, you can type here const total is equal to 4 plus 2, and we will return this total. Let me type here total variable, and so we have just created a custom hook. And let me remove this button from here, this use state and this one, because we don't need this. We have created our custom hook, and for example from here I will remove this count as well. Hello Fahim, the width is total width. So now if I refresh, so you can see that we have created a custom hook. We write some logic to calculate something, and this hook is returning something, and the same hook we are using here. So this one you can do in your functional component. So friends, this was the concept in ReactJS, that how you can create a component, and we learned in this video that how to create functional component, and we also learned that how we can use that components in our applications. So if video was helpful, let us know in the comment section. If you have any idea that how we can improve our teaching method, you can also let us know in the comment section. We will try to improve ourselves. And finally, thanks for watching.